Guys, you're listening to another episode of Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. In this episode, I want to talk about realistically, when are you going to make money with this? When are you going to actually make money, pay it into your bank account, spend it on whatever you want from your Amazon business? Before we dive into Amazon specifically though, I kind of want to talk about some of the alternatives, right? What are the alternative business models out there? And then try to consider how much money can you make from those other business models? Because if you're someone listening to this podcast, maybe this episode specifically, maybe you haven't quite started your Amazon business yet. Maybe you're not completely convinced that this is the best online business model for you. There's a lot of online business models. So I'm going to pull over my little whiteboard drawing tablet here, see if we can do this on my screen. Okay. So just some other online business models, right? You've got, let's put ecom right there at the top. And we're talking specifically about Amazon, I guess. You've got Amazon. You could start a YouTube channel. You could start a podcast. You could start a blog. No, that's not really much of a thing anymore. You could be a influencer on social media. Or when I say influencer on social media, we're talking like a big account. So like maybe like on the TikTok or on Instagram, like you grow a really big Instagram, TikTok account and you monetize that account that way. You could do like an online course. You could sell like a digital course. Those are probably the main big ones on there. Now within these, there's like other variations, right? Like within ecom, you're like, I could do drop shipping, I could do Shopify, but like kind of the whole e-commerce, selling a physical product on the internet, Etsy, eBay. I mean, we're kind of all talking the same sort of thing. We're going to talk specifically about Amazon. But some of these others, guys, these other ones, and this is coming from me, I've done all of these or attempted to do all of these. And just to talk, like, we're going to come back to Amazon. We'll talk Amazon as the core essence of the episode. But just to talk about some of these some of the others here on this list, we've got YouTube, podcasting, blogging, influencer, selling digital course content, that kind of stuff. Let's just talk money on YouTube here for a sec. So a big way that people can make some money on YouTube is with advertising, right? You just post really good videos that get lots of views and YouTube shows their ads and you get a cut from the ads. Now, standard CPMs on YouTube can be anywhere from about 25 cents to $4, and that's per 1,000 views. So let's say you wanted to earn, let's say $10,000 a month. I'm actually going to write here at the top of my screen. I'm writing $10,000 a month income. What would it take realistically to make $10,000 a month income from maybe some of these different online business models out there? So YouTube, 25 cents to $4 per 1,000 views. So we can do some reverse math here and say, let's use the high end. So if we're going to go 10,000, so we're going to get paid $4 for every, let's say, we're going to get $4 for every 1,000 views, right? From an ad. We'll say like kind of on the higher side of things. So 10,000 divided by 4, that's 2,500. So that's times 1,000 views. If you wanted to make $10,000 a month from YouTube ad revenue with a $4 CPM, you would need 2.5 million views per month on your channel. 2.5 million views. Let's say you had 100 videos. If you put out 100 videos on YouTube, you would need each of those 100 videos to get 25,000 views every month. 100 videos getting 25,000 views every single month to earn $10,000 a month from YouTube ad revenue. Now, there's other ways you can monetize a YouTube channel, right? You could do brand deals, where like a brand will pay you, like you make a video reviewing a product or something. Maybe they pay you $1,000 or $500, but they'll do similar type of CPM stuff where they'll say, okay, we'll pay you. What's your standard views per video? And you're like, okay, I get on average 10,000 views per video. They'll do the same sort of thing. They'll say, okay, well, we pay maybe it's at $10 CPM, which means $10 per 1,000 views. So if you get 10,000 views per video times or divided by 10, right, for 1,000 CPM, they'd pay you $100. So a brand deal, maybe if you're getting 10,000 views on a video, you get $100 from a brand to say, hey, let me review your product or whatever. $100, nothing crazy. 2.5 million views a month, 25,000 views per month on 100 videos. So you got to pump out 100 videos that are bangers. 25,000 views a month, that's a banging video. Trust me, as someone who's put out hundreds of YouTube videos that have gotten maybe a couple hundred views. Not all your videos are going to crush it. You could also be a podcaster. Like let's say you want to start your own podcast, because I podcast, so I can be real with you guys. I started a podcast, right? You're listening to it right now. It is a top 100 entrepreneurship podcast in the United States. So just for reference, being a top 100 entrepreneurship podcast in the United States, I normally get 2,000 to 3,000 downloads per episode. Now, my first 8 episodes, those get a lot more because those are the first episodes. They're promoted a lot more in some of my other content. Those get anywhere from 10,000 to 40,000. That's total. That's not like how many they're getting every month. That is how many listens they've got ever. Now, CPMs, again, ad buys on a podcast. You listen to a podcast and the podcaster's like, this episode is sponsored by Manscaped or sponsored by QuickBooks. Those rates around $15 to $30 per CPM per 1,000 downloads. So for me personally, like if we were to say how much would my podcast make if I was doing ads on mine, let's just pretend it's the high end. It's $30 per 1,000. So I get roughly 2,000 downloads per episode times 8 episodes a month. That's 16,000 downloads. And let's do some math. 16,000 downloads divided by 1,000, 16 times $30. I'd make $480 a month. That's how much I would make as of right now. Now, if you were trying to make $10,000 a month income from podcast ad rolls, let's see if we can figure that out here really quickly. 10,000 divided by $30, 333 times 1,000. You would need 333,000 downloads a month to make $10,000 a month from podcast ads. So if I was doing 8 episodes, like 2 a week times 4 weeks, right? I would have to get 41,000 downloads every episode to make $10,000 a month. And I get about 2,000 downloads. And 2,000 downloads a month, guys, that's a top 100 entrepreneurship podcast. I'm not saying it to brag. I'm just saying like getting 40,000 downloads is a lot. Like it is very difficult. You got to be like, not Joe Rogan's getting in hundreds of thousands, but like you got to be a big time in the public celebrity type of person to be pulling those types of numbers with a podcast. You could also blog. You could also be an influencer. Same sort of thing, guys, with like the influencer thing. It's like, oh yeah, you could do brand deals. You know how much you get paid for reels? TikTok is ridiculous. You don't get paid jack. But even for Instagram, they'll do like an Instagram reel bonus thing from time to time where you can get paid for views. I've done it before. And I've had some viral reels where I've gotten like over 12 million views on a reel. And to get paid $1,000 from Instagram, $1,000, I had to get like 20 million views that month across my reels. That is, for anyone who's tried to post reels, TikToks, that is extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. You got to be really talented, really funny, or really good looking to get those kind of numbers on a consistent basis. The other thing you could do, guys, is you could sell a course. Great business model. Honestly, it is. I do it. But even then, guys, to make $10,000 a month, like let's say you're selling a $97 course, $10,000 divided by $97, you'd have to sell 100 of those courses every single month. Now, if we're going to talk like conversion rates on things, like what percentage of people actually buy, if you have like a 2% conversion rate for like digital course content, that's a pretty dang good conversion rate. So that means only 2 out of 100 people actually buy your product if they see it, right? This is seeing it. So you got to think about not only creating the course, but you got to think about how are people going to see it, because you got to get 100 people to see it to sell 2, and you got to sell 100 a month to make $10,000 if you're selling a $100 course. Now, obviously, the higher price the course, the less you have to sell per month. But the eyeball thing still becomes an issue where if you have no followers, you're going to be grinding away trying to build followers. You're going to be running Facebook ads like I do, spending thousands of dollars a month trying to get people to see your stuff to buy your course. And as someone who has ran lots of Facebook ads, who's done a lot of social media marketing and stuff, it is extremely difficult. It is extremely difficult. It takes a lot of work, a lot of testing, a lot of money to even figure out what works. I have people who say, Andy, how much do I need to start an Amazon business? And I say $5,000 to $10,000. And they'll look at me like, that's an insane amount of money. Like, oh my gosh, I need $5,000 to start this business? No, thanks. I'm going to go be an influencer. I'm going to go start a podcast. I'm going to go start a YouTube channel. I'm like, okay. Or they'll say, I'm going to go create a course. I'm like, okay. But if I had to tell you how much money I've spent and lost to build my YouTube channels, to build my podcast, to build my social media, to sell my course with Facebook ads, no joke, I mean, I could pull up QuickBooks, but I have spent a ridiculous amount of money to try to build my own personal business. I'm going to find this really quickly because this is going to be really interesting. Because again, the whole point here being when I say, oh, you need $5,000, $10,000 to start your Amazon business, people think that's absolutely insane. Like that's a ridiculous amount of money to start a business. There's no possible way I would ever do that. But here, let me show you how much money I've spent. This is Andy Isom. This is AMZ with Andy Isom. This is money I've spent on ads, money I spent on software, money I spend on virtual assistants, on contracting work, on video editing, on, oh gosh, all the different software tools. I already said Facebook ads, equipment, all that kind of stuff. Let's look at a report. August 29, 2020 to August 29, 2023. Right? That's 3 years. 3 years, guys. Last 3 years of AMZ with Andy Isom, of my social medias and all that. I have spent $237,000. $237,000 I have spent to try to build my personal business. So again, when people are like, that's ridiculous that I have to spend $5,000, $10,000 on an Amazon business, I'm like, okay, go try and start a YouTube channel or a podcast or your social media, build your social media accounts, grow them, or sell an online course or that. That ain't free. Like people think, oh, YouTube's free, I'll do YouTube. It's not. Like if you truly want to grow, you truly want to monetize, it's going to cost you money for software, for equipment, for promotion, for marketing. If you want to grow your Instagram account, you're going to be paying for shout outs, for influencer campaigns, for Instagram ads, same anything, guys. Like if you want to really play, you have to pay. Like I've literally done all these, and I'm telling you, I've spent $237,000 to try to grow my personal business. It costs money. So sorry, we've talked a lot about other business models, but I just want to add perspective. It's something that I enjoy talking about on the podcast too. It's just like all the other business models because I'm in it. I've done lots of these things and still do lots of them, and I know the difficulty and the challenges with all of them. Now with Amazon specifically, let's talk what you really need to make $10,000 a month income. What I coach most of my students on is try to find a product that you can sell for a 30% profit margin or higher. So if you're thinking, how does Amazon profitability, fees, and all that kind of stuff work? I like to play the rule of thirds, meaning a third of your cost is going to be taken by Amazon, or a third of your revenue, I should say. That's a better way to say it. A third of your revenue is going to be taken by Amazon. That is Amazon fees, the selling fee, the FBA fee, storage fees, 33%. Another third goes to cost of the product. That is how much it costs you to get it manufactured, to get it shipped to Amazon and all that. That's another third of your selling price. The other third is your profit. Say rule of thirds, 33%, 33%, 33%. Amazon's cut, the manufacturer's cut, your cut. If your cut is less than 33% or, rule of thirds, it's going to be tough. But let's say you play by the rule of thirds. You play by the rule of thirds, you have a 33% profit margin. 33% goes to Amazon, 33% goes to your supplier. And let's say your product is you're selling it on Amazon for $33. I'm doing that because I'm not good at math in my head, so that should make things easier. You're selling a product on Amazon that you can sell for $33. That means it costs $11 per unit to get it made by your supplier. Let's say they're in China, made by your supplier, shipped to Amazon or shipped to you and then shipped to Amazon. That's just your total landed cost to Amazon, $11 per unit. And then you sell that product for $33 on Amazon. Now the Amazon fees are also $11, okay? And then you make $11 profit, right? Pretty good general rule to follow for most things, unless you're selling a really big bulky product. But most small, lightweight, simple products tend to follow that kind of rule right there, okay? So if you want to make $10,000 a month, sorry. Let's factor in ads. That's a huge element of this, right? So there's going to be a cost associated with ads, especially early. And something I also like to tell people too is ads early in the first year will likely cut your profit margin in half. So if you have a 33% profit margin and you're running your Amazon PPC like you should, that's going to cut that 33% margin down to 16.5, or let's call it 17%. So really, when it's all said and done, your $33 product you're selling for a 33% profit, after ads are accounted for, you're keeping actually 17% profit margin off every sale. So when you sell a product for $33, you actually make $5.61. Okay, $5.61. So to make $10,000 a month, we do 10,000 divided by $5.61. You would need to sell 1,782 units. Let's do what that revenue would be times 33. You need to sell 58,000, what is that? $823 a month if you want to make $10,000 a month income from Amazon. Now again, going back to those units, let's divide that back by 33. 1,782 units a month. Let's do per day, divided by 30 days, 59 units per day. If you can sell, let's say 60, if you can sell 60 units a day of your $33 product with your 17% profit margin after ads, you can make $10,000 a month profit. 60 per day. Let's simplify this even more. Let's say you have 6 variations of a product, whether that's like for us, dog bandanas, or for you, it's baby bibs or towels or mugs, tennis rackets or fishing poles or soccer balls or whatever your product is. You have 6 different variations. And remember, you just have to sell 60 per day overall. So if you have 6 variations, 60 divided by 6 is 10. So guys, this is literally how simple an Amazon business is to get to $10,000 a month income. You need 6 products that you can sell for $33 that make you a 33% margin, but after ads, cut that in half, 17% profit margin. You need 6 products that you can sell 10 units a day. Again, that is with ads. Obviously with a good ad strategy that you know what you're doing and you're optimizing everything. That's it. Compare that to getting 2.5 million YouTube views every month, or getting 40,000 downloads on every podcast episode you put out every month, or having to get 70 million views on your Instagram reels every month. Those things, guys, are so incredibly difficult. Again, I have done all of these. I've done Amazon, I've done YouTube, I've done podcasting, I've done blogging, I've done social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. I sell courses, I sell consulting. They can be good businesses, right? They can be business models. But if we're talking like realistically, how difficult is it? I would take any day of the week, again, knowing what I know, as far as like what would be the easiest if I had to start from zero. Now, I've already been doing this for 5 years, 8 years, really. So I have a foundation. So it may look easy for me from looking from your perspective. It look easy, but like I've been doing this for 8 freaking years with a lot of failed attempts on the way. But all you got to do is find a product, find a way to make 6 variations of them and get each of those 6 variations selling 10 units a day. You'll make 10 grand. That's it. Now, let's talk about timeline of this. We're getting deep in this episode. I know we're going a little long on this episode, but this is real talk on making money, because I think we talk a lot about sales, but like let's talk actual making money. Okay, so we already know what the benchmark is. The benchmark is 6 products selling 10 units a day. You can make 10 grand a month income. How long is it going to take you to get to that? For most people, let's talk just timeline of this Amazon thing. Let's say today, you listen to this episode today and you're like, Andy, I'm freaking doing this crap. I'm starting it. I'm doing it. Okay. From the day you make that decision and really make it, because I can't tell you how many of my friends are like, yeah, I'm going to start an Amazon business. Like 3 years later, like, yeah, I'm going to start an Amazon business. I'm like, bro, if you started 2 years ago, you'd be making 15 grand a month. Like you just keep dragging your feet. But anyways, you just decide today. If you diligently work for 30 minutes a day, not 3 hours, 30 minutes every day, 30 minutes a day, every day, you will very likely have a product. Let's just say your first product, right? Where our goal is 6. Your first product up selling on Amazon within 6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months from today, you will have your first product up and selling on Amazon. It could be faster, honestly. I'm just saying 30 minutes a day. If you double that and do 1 hour a day, your time will likely cut in half. So instead of 6 to 8 months, we're looking at 3 to 4 months. Maybe depending on the manufacturing and the shipment, like that's where a lot of the time comes. But you can move fast. You can move as fast or as slow as you want to be. 6 to 8 months, first product up and selling. It ain't going to sell 10 units a day from the beginning, unless you're like really crushing it and running lots of ads and like doing your social media and just, crushing it. But let's say you're just like, you're being kind of lazy with it. Well, that's fine. Like you're just doing the bare bones work, 1 unit a day. Within, realistically, again, it's a good product, decent demand. We're assuming all those things. I would say realistically within 3 months, you can get to 10 units a day with like just a decent marketing strategy. You get that up to 10 units a day, assuming it's also a good seller. It's got to be a decent design. It's not going to be your top seller, but it has to be decent. You can get up to selling 10 units a day in 3 months or so. Then you're going to release another variation, right? You may not be making a ton of profit off your first variation. So maybe you have to, invest another 2 grand, 3 grand, 4 grand to get that second order for second variation. Same sort of thing. It might take 3 months or so to get up to 10 units a day. Let's just pretend, just for example's sake, let's say whenever you launch a new SKU, it takes you 3 months to get it to what did I say? 10 units a day. And you don't release a new variation, you only release a new variation every 3 months. So that's once a quarter, right? So once a quarter, 4 times a year, you release a new variation. So you're releasing 4 new SKUs in a year. And within those 3 months, it gets up to 10 units a day. Then you release the next one. 3 months later, 10 units a day, next one. So in theory, right? In theory, we're looking at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 months. If you're following this, release a new variation every 3 months, and it's taking you 3 months to get to 10 units a day. 18 months, you should have 6 variations, all selling 10 units a day. Now, it's not going to go like that. Like, let's be honest. It's not. You're going to have one variation that sells 2 units a day, another one that sells 6, another one that sells 15. Maybe one of them crushes it and sells 20. But I can almost guarantee you, if you have a good product, you differentiate, all you do, everything that we teach you, within 18 months of selling those 6 variations, and you're dedicating your time to your marketing, you're posting on social media, you're working with influencers the best you can get to 60 units per day total across your 6 variations, whatever the split may be on how many units per day each one is selling. So that's 18 months. So again, let's talk big picture timeline. 6 months, 6 to 8 months or so to launch that first one. Then 18 months by the time you have all 6 up and selling 10 units a day. That's 2 years. 2 years, you're making $10,000 a month income from your Amazon business. 2 years from this moment right now. Now, I know a lot of people will look at that and say, I don't want to wait 2 years. I want to make money faster. But let's really sit down, guys, for a second and really understand what you are building for yourself for the next 2 years. You are not building yourself a job, because when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to being an influencer on social media, selling a course, I'm telling you guys, I do all these things. These things take far more time than selling 60 units a day of 6 products. People ask me all the time, Andy, how much time do you spend per week on your Amazon business? I'm like, I spend maybe an hour or 2. Depends, but some weeks I might spend an hour a day. So that's about 5 hours a week. 5 hours a week to run our Amazon business. And that's with 60 SKUs, not 6, 60. And I spend 5 hours a week. You wanna know how much time I spend recording podcast episodes, updating my website, posting on social media, posting on YouTube, answering questions from my students, doing my weekly Zoom Q&A call, doing all the back end work, filming ads, setting up my ads. I spend way more time doing that. Now, granted, I still have a really cushy life and I live life the way I want. So it's not like I'm working 10 hours a day. I work maybe 3-4 hours a day on average. But most of that is doing this, recording podcasts and doing all this kind of crap. Now, I love it. That's why I do it. Otherwise, it's like, why am I doing this? I'm better off probably just selling a bunch more stuff on Amazon. But for me, again, it's not just about the money. It's about what is fulfilling. What is fulfilling? What motivates me and drives me, and where do I feel good inside? Yeah, I feel good selling bandanas to people, but changing someone's life is a lot more fulfilling than selling someone a dog bandana. And they both make money. So I do what I'm passionate about because I truly love it. It is truly my passion in life. But if I had to say what is less time moving forward, it's definitely selling physical products. Because you just post them on Amazon, you set up your ads, and the rest is history. Literally, guys, it's 4 p.m. I have not even touched my Amazon business, and we have sold 82 units. 82 units today. Remember what I said? 60 units a day. We're already past that, and it's 4 p.m. And I've done nothing from Amazon business today, or yesterday, really. But I've been answering coaching emails, recording, doing all that stuff every day, right? Guys, 2 years, that's all. It's crazy to me because people just want it so bad, or at least they think they do, but clearly they don't want it bad enough because they don't do anything about it. I hear the talk of, I hate my boss, I hate my job, I just want to be able to do what I want. I don't even care to be a millionaire. And I'm like, I know, I was in your shoes. I had a good conversation, funny conversation really, with a family member of mine about a week ago. And they came to me and said, I'm ready to start my Amazon business. And I said, oh, bad day at work? And they kind of laughed and rolled their eyes. And I said, are they making you go into work more? Because everyone's still kind of doing the whole work from home thing where it's okay, if you're working from home, you're working half what you used to work. Let's be honest. And so when your boss finally is okay, time to come back to the office full time, you're screw that. So I said, are they making you go back and go into the office more? And my family member was not necessarily. I just don't want to go into the office at all. I'm I don't blame you. That's why I quit my job. My boss was even telling me, he's yeah, we can pay you more. And I was getting paid good, good for what I thought, $90,000 salary, which was, for me, it was good at that time. I was going to get paid more. I just had to come into the office more. Like come to the office 5 days a week. And my hours weren't even that crazy either. It was pretty chill. It was like 8 to 3. It's like, it wasn't anything nutsos, but I was just like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to wake up and have to be somewhere. I want to wake up and do whatever the fetch I want. I don't want to have to answer my phone. When my phone rings and I see and it's my boss's name, I don't want to feel like I have to answer this phone, like working from home, right? I hated that. Or like a coworker. Phone ring, my coworker is calling me, and like I do not want to answer this call, but I have to. It's my job. I hated it. It's like, I don't want that. I want to be able to put my phone in my room and completely ignore it because I'm sitting here next to my wife and my kids. So it's like the most important people in the world are right next to me. So I don't got to worry about answering my phone. And I also don't have to worry about being to a meeting or, showing up to the office at a certain time. And so again, that's what tripped it for my family members is they were just like, I don't want to have to go to an office. I'm like, I don't blame you. That's why I quit my job. So you are literally working on something for 30 minutes a day for the next 2 years. Like think about 2 years. That's 2 years of high school. Remember going to high school for 2 years? It went by like that. That's all you need. 2 years. 2 years is like, if you have a 2-year-old, that's 2 years. Think of how fast that went by. Think of how fast this year went by. That times 2. That's it. That's all you got to do for 30 minutes a day. And you could potentially make $10,000 a month. That's $120,000 a year and spend how much do people have full-time jobs? Was it like 40 hours a week? I think that's like the thing people do. You can spend an eighth of the time, right? 5 hours a week. I think it's an eighth or gosh, even a tenth of the time that you would have spent on a job you hate running your business to make the same amount of money. I just don't get it. I just don't understand the people who say they want that life of not having to go to an office, not having to talk to a boss, not having to answer the phone call from annoying coworkers, but they won't put in 30 minutes a day for 2 years to get to that point of their life. That's all it takes. Now, are you going to crush it on your first attempt? Maybe not. Is your first product going to crush it? Also, probably maybe not. But guess what? All that means is 1, it might take a little longer than 2 years, or 2, you got to spend a little more than 30 minutes a day. Spend an hour a day and you can make it happen faster. And then if a product doesn't work out, you can get to the next product a little bit faster because everyone's so worried about like, oh, it's going to take too long. It's going to take 2 years to make money. What is the alternative? You keep doing the same thing you're doing for the next 40? Again, it just doesn't make sense to me. The people who hate their life but aren't willing to do anything to change it. If you don't want to start an e-commerce brand, Amazon, whatever, that's totally fine. I really don't care what your business is. All I'm trying to do is wake you up to the reality of it's going to take some time. It's going to take some work. And an Amazon business, honestly, compared to a lot of the other business options out there online, is pretty dang simple and straightforward when you think about it. You just have to see the big picture and stick to the game plan. 1 new product every 3 months, get it to 10 units sold a day. You get 6 products selling 10 units a day, you can make a $10,000 a month income. Now again, I have to put out the disclaimer because I'm going to get the hate mail over on Instagram saying, Andy, I sell 60 units a day and I don't make $10,000 a month. Okay, I understand. Not everyone's product is going to be the same. Your profit margins might be different. Your ads might be different, but I would be willing to bet most people who are selling 60 units a day of a $33 a product on Amazon are making income. And I would be willing to bet, again, it depends on your profit margins, but if you are selling $50,000 a month, right? I think the exact number was like 56,000, something like that. 56,800, I think it was. If you're selling $50,000 a month consistently, I would be very, very willing to bet you are making at least $3,000 a month in income. That's like us pushing it down to the low end. Like if you're making like, what is the profit margin on that? $3,000 off of 56,000 in sales. That's a 5% profit margin. Even if you're selling $56,000 a month of something and you have a 5% profit margin. Oh wait, no. Did I do that right? 56,000 times 0.05. Yeah, that's $2,800. That's $3,000 a month in profit. That's a 5% margin. That's it. Guys, it's not that difficult. You just have to do it and have the patience to stick it out. Now, granted, you are going to have to invest. Like most of you, I think a lot of people have the misconception. It's like, oh, with $5,000 or $10,000, I'm going to be able to get to that. No, you're going to have to invest more over time. But think about it. you invest 10 grand of your own money up front. Then 6 months down the road, you invest another 5 grand. Then a year from that time down the road, you invest another 30 grand, which is what I've talked about in other podcasts episodes. So you make that big investment to get over the hump. So you've invested 10 plus 5, that's 15, plus 30, that's $45,000. You have invested $45,000 of your own money over the course of a year and a half or so, 2 years, to really get your brand up and running. $45,000. Seems like a lot, but then think about it. From that time forward, you're making $10,000 a month profit. That's 120 grand in a year. So then you think about over the course of the next year, you're going to make 120 grand. You pay off, in theory, right? You're paying off the $45,000. You're repaying that $45,000 investment that you initially made. You have now made 120 minus 45,000, $75,000. You have gotten, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Your net is 75,000 because you've paid off your $45,000 investment that you've made over the first 2 years. And then you made 120 grand over the course of that next year. So in 3 years, you have netted 75,000 and you're going to make 120 grand plus moving forward. As long as you keep scaling your brand and growing it and find ways to expand, your income can go up from there. Whatever you can put into it. We just got to start looking at the big picture. We got to start looking at the big picture. If you don't accept that and see that it's going to take time, see that it's going to, take some work, take a little bit of effort. It's going to take an investment, but that's what it takes with anything. If you want to get into real estate and buy rental properties, it's going to take the same thing. Like if you can cash flow on a rental property, cash flow, like mortgage or rental income minus mortgage, cash flow positive, $500 a month. That's good. That's like pretty dang good for a cash flowing property. You need 20 properties to make 10 grand a month. 20. You're not going to buy 20 properties in the next 6 months. I mean, I'd be willing to bet you're not. That's going to take time. It's going to take money. It's going to take risk. Like any way that you're trying to make income for yourself to replace your full-time job, it's going to take investment. It's going to take time. It's going to take risk. Hopefully, again, my goal was to just like kind of open your eyes to what it takes to make money online in different online business models, but also to help you see how simple this business can be if you just break it down at its core and just focus on executing. And you can execute as much or as little as you want. If you want to spend more time, spend more time. If you want to spend less time and you're like, I'm Gucci making whatever you're making per month for your Amazon business, then be Gucci and chill. Take a nap. Like no one says you have to keep growing your business to 50,000 products. If you're like, Andy, I found 10 products. I have 10 products that all sell 10 units a day. And then I make 15 grand a month profit. Chill right there. Stop expanding. Like just hang out right there and just run your biz and then sell it. Like no one says you have to try to grow your business to $10 million a year. Do what feels right to you. Do what, you want to do with your business and live life the way you want to live it. That's what really it comes down to. Get to that point where you're living life the way you want to live your life and be happy. Guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Selling on Amazon with Andy Isom. We'll see you in the next episode.